Researchers at the University of Toronto say that sensitive Indian government systems were broken into and information stolen, allegedly by hackers based in China. While China has rubbished those claims, it comes close on the heels of internet giant Google accusing hackers based in China of attacking its systems. For India, experts say that the report proves once again how both the government and India Inc. have yet to pay sufficient attention to securing important data. For more on that, we're now being joined by ANKIT FADIA, who's a professional hacker, computer security expert. Call him what you want. ANKIT, thanks a lot for joining us. Just tell us, what is it that companies and the government don't really take stock of? Is India particularly vulnerable to hackers, especially those coming from China?
I think the awareness level in India regarding the cyber security threats is very low, and secondly, unfortunately, most people, especially in the government sector, tend to have a more reactive approach than a proactive approach. So that chalta hai attitude is still there in India. But the good news is that the most sensitive documents, military secrets, are still being stored on offline networks or LANs that are not connected to the internet.
So I'm just asking you, if you had to actually get into, government data files, or for that matter, many top Indian corporates, their files, is this something that would not be that difficult to do?
I think it should be pretty easy, especially because number one, awareness is very low, and secondly, the systems, the security features that are in place have not been updated in a very long time, and most of the government systems actually don't even have any security systems in place.
So what do they need to do? Put in firewalls, have better security, encrypt all their files? What would be some of the suggestions you would have?
I think first of all, if you look at the largest education institutes in India, very few of them offer any courses on ethical hacking or cyber security. So there's no awareness, there are not many trained professionals in India. Secondly, the government needs to put in the security software in place, the firewalls, the intrusion detection systems. Thirdly, they need to do security audits of their networks every week or every 15 days, depending on how sensitive the data is. And I think most importantly, they need to have a shift in the attitude and take security seriously enough, because China is announcing their arrival in the cyber world by initiating the cyber terrorism war against the US and against India as well.
Alright, Ankit, that's something for all of us to worry about. Thanks for joining us with that perspective, and we'll keep on getting you back to tell people exactly what they should do to try and avoid getting hacked in one way or the other. Meanwhile, a whole range of tricky issues that have been outstanding between India and China, not just the issue of cybersecurity, were discussed today during Mr. S.M. Krishna's visit out there. One positive development, that there will now be a hotline between the prime ministers of the two countries.
The complexities of the India-China relationship on display once again. On the positive side, the two countries signed an agreement to establish a telephone hotline between the prime ministers, a decision that was taken last June. This is the first time in recent years that India has established a dedicated hotline facility with any country. But the issue of Chinese hackers accessing secret Indian government files was not taken up. New Delhi says cybersecurity is its own headache. Other contentious issues did come up, such as construction work by China in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and stapled visas being issued to Kashmiris by the Chinese embassy.
We do not accept the staple visas that have been put on the passports of some Indian citizens who reside in the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir. Our position in this regard was made clear once again to the Chinese side during this visit. They listened very attentively to what we said.
Indian officials also said China reiterated their known position on supporting India's case for a seat in the United Nations Security Council. Beijing says it supports a bigger role for India in the UN, but doesn't say how. With Uma Shankar Singh in Beijing, Saurabh Gupta for NDTV.